Hey everybody, it's Durgertime. Welcome to All Elite Wrestling on Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. If you had not joined us for the last episode, we actually had one in between, sort of. So you might not have seen it. Wasn't anything story related, but we did a really fun stream where we went through and we redid all of the roster. I've been feeling like our roster has been just wrong. Like, honestly, like, I thought its stats, a lot of people's stats were just way, way, way off base. I don't think we're at 100% there, but I kind of at a certain point just gave up. But I think we're looking a lot better. So I just want to quickly, I'm not going to go crazy, because if you want to see more of it, we have like a 2-hour stream where you can watch us go through the whole thing. But here's how it looks now. Basically about where you expect for the main event, but we bumped stats down to put Hangman Page down in upper mid card, which is probably where he needs to be. Jungle Boy, I don't think belongs up there. I thought, yeah, he's supposed to be a mid carder. I think we didn't quite. Here, let me just auto push everybody real quick. There we go. So that should give us the Jacksons, Pac, Omega, Jericho, Dustin Rhodes, the Revival when they're there. For some reason, stat-wise, because we didn't really adjust him, one of the Revival members is a main eventer, while the other one's upper mid-card. Not sure why, but so they did something at some point once that did it. But that's fine. They can be a main event challenge to Matt and Nick. Upper mid card, we look better. Darby Allin, Christopher Daniels, Hangman, MJF, Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears probably should be a mid carder, but I'm not really fretting it. Pentagon and Rey Fenix. Mid card is SCU, Dark Order, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy. Kind of the bulk of everybody, which seems about right. We moved the Private Party from openers and enhancement talent to lower mid card, which feels better. Jack Evans, I'm still not necessarily sure whether they should be lower mid carder, but Jack Evans was like an opener for some reason, and Angelica was lower mid carder, so we moved them up to just kind of match. Kip Sabian was still an opener with Sonny Kiss, and Marco Stunt probably should actually be enhancement talent, but and we moved Avalon down a bit so that he is enhancement talent with Cutler and Nakazawa. In addition to that, we modified, for the most part, nobody in the women's division except for Nyla Rose, who we gave her an immense amount more menace, because she should have it, and also lowered her safety rating. So we might have to tweak the women's division a little bit, but I kind of want to play it out first and see what we're looking like. We also already did an episode of Dark to test out some of the new changes. So today we're just doing an episode of Dynamite. So if you want to see that Dark episode, go ahead and watch the end of the last stream where you will find that. Now, otherwise, nothing really going on in terms of the world, I think, except Candice LeRae is getting called up to WWE. Yeah, nothing crazy. And like I said, for the most part, we're really not looking at like mass hiring people. I want to utilize the roster that we have. We already have a bloated roster, 64 people compared to the 26 that we should have. So it's not like we are shy of people. There's a few people out in the world that if they pop up, I would take, but for the most part, I've hired the people that I really want already. And that's about it. Probably like the only short list people that I would put on is like maybe Tessa Blanchard, but she right now is toxic because of an instance that had happened, because of the comments that she had made like a couple months ago. So that'll go away eventually. But right now she has been dropped from Impact And she will not be available right now for us. And then like pie in the sky, like Kota Ibushi, right? I think I already have him on my short list. Let's see, can I look at my short list already? Casey McKnight, already have. Matt Hardy, we already have. Dash Wilder, we already have. The only other people that I really would probably like pick up in an instant is Sami Zayn, Kota Ibushi. I mean, like, if major names purged, if like a Finn Balor or something left, Randy Orton, of course we'll look at it. But for the most part, we're not looking at major hiring. We are looking at utilizing the roster. So let's go ahead. Let's go over to Dynamite. Let's book a show. Now we have 2 episodes of Dynamite before Blood and Guts, which happens on Saturday, week 2. So we have this one and the next one to do a go-home show. We have obviously the storyline of the Dark Order going into Blood and Guts. We have Jericho and Moxley. Moxley wants Hager in a cage at Blood and Guts. So those are definitely the major storylines. And then we obviously have Hangman's issue of Omega actually betraying Paige, bringing back the cleaner, and what that ends up looking like. So those are kind of our 3 major story beats going forward. So we have 2 weeks to kind of build to Ultimatum and then Hard Times. Or not Hard Times. Oh my god. Jesus. I'm getting all of my shows. Blood and Guts. I'm getting all of my shows messed up right now. All right. Let's go and let's book Dynamite. All right. On TNT. TNT is going to eventually get pretty upset with us because we're just not meeting their criteria. So we got to be a little bit smarter about the booking of it. Where are we going to be? Great Lakes. Now, it's something we haven't really looked at is what we need to be maintaining here, right? So we're maintaining, we need to have importance of 47 in 2 regions. Now, we're actually under everywhere but 3. So we kind of have to protect those while also trying to maintain the others. So I'm thinking we target the Southeast, Great Lakes. What's the spillover at Great Lakes? Tri-State. So that's perfect, because if I can get the Tri-State to 47, that gives us a little protection. Meanwhile, we're going to look at trying to grow these. We need 8 of these regions at 65 or more. So we're still going to be rotating, but I'm going to start to target specific locations a little bit more than just kind of letting us go and travel around. We're still going to travel, but maybe have some more home shows, maybe pay-per-views in specific areas. So I think we are in the Great Lakes right now. Wings Event Center sounds fine. What's that give us? That gives us 5,000. It's going to cost 20 grand. That's fine. That'll be okay. All right, let's go ahead and book Dynamite and lead us to our, what is this going to be, our second to last Dynamite before Blood and Guts. So we got some work to do. Let's see if we can do it. All right, guys, it's getting hard to get everybody on this freaking show. So a lot of people are left off, but that's fine. We have 2 with this episode and another one. So what we need to do, I can get done, I think. Maybe. We'll see. We start off with a pre-show match. It's not great, but it's just a work the crowd match on the pre-show. It's Kip Sabian and the Hybrid 2 versus the Best Friends and Joey Janela. It is what it is. It's fine. I mean, they're not bad. But, some wins might give us some popularity. So We let Angelico win. Actually defeats Joey Janela by submission. It didn't get the crowd hotter, though, unfortunately, which is kind of its goal, but whatever. But this is a great way to start the show and got the crowd hotter anyways. Kenny Omega starts the show with a promo. He comes out to the crowd with a mix of boos and cheers, confused over his actions last week. He says, I want to set the record straight as I'm hearing a lot of flack over my actions last week. Yes, I attacked Hangman Page last week. Yes, it was probably the wrong thing to do, but honestly, I did what I had to do and what felt right. For months, Hangman has claimed he wanted out of the Elite at the time of crisis when we needed him the most, when we were attacked at all sides from the Dark Order and from the Inner Circle. He's been pissy, he's been mopey, he's been drunk. He's been a weakness to the entire team, and, well, I've become weak because of him. When I needed him the most, he cost us the belts because of his arrogance. I got fed up, and I'm sorry. Is this is Kenny a bad guy now? No, of course not. I love the fans, you guys give me energy, but my record speaks for itself. Something's been missing since I've come here from Japan. You've all seen it. You've all talked about it. It's time to unleash it. The cleaner is back, and he will do anything and everything he needs in order to win. I'm sorry, Adam, but you're just dead weight. Gets the show off to a strong start. B, that's what we need. And this doesn't do us good. But Sammy Guevara, who got called out by Orange Cassidy the last show, defends his Shockwave title, makes defense number 3 of it. Ultimately, Orange Cassidy is not able to win the match. Cassidy has a 25. I think we might need to boost his performance. I might do that off air because Cassidy actually secretly is like an amazing wrestler. So we might have to look at what his in-ring performance is. Overall, though, it does all right. Afterwards, the Revival, quote unquote, now named #FTR, come in and debut at Dynamite. They have new names because they're not legally allowed to call themselves the same thing. So it's Dash Wheeler and Casey McKnight. Casey McKnight is his old name, and then for Stephen Walters, I took his real last name, and then obviously Dash, because he can't copyright first name. They get both really good initial debut ratings for their gimmick. It got the crowd hotter more. It did pretty well. Afterwards, they have a real banger of a match, actually. FTR versus SCU. Good wrestling, but didn't have much heat to it. FTR defeat SCU in 14 minutes. Get a Shatter Machine in there. They showed excellent chemistry all abound. You know, everything was great there. Not much to say about it other than that's an excellent match. Exactly what we're looking for. Man, we're getting bees like out the wazoo here. The Exalted One backstage. We have Matt Hardy in a backstage vignette. He's sitting upon a throne of creepers with Uno and Grayson at his side. And he speaks once again to the audience. And he says, "The Elite have not capitulated their sovereignty to me, and the dark being inside me is most displeased. I do not believe they truly understand what we are for and what good for the world we can provide. But also, I do not think they truly understand what the Dark Order is capable of if you cross us. We are the future. We have the solution to all the problems. But sometimes a revolution must be paid in blood. Elite, your blood will be spilt tonight." So we build up a entire match with all of the Dark Order versus all of the Elite. Gets a pretty good segment here. It goes to a less good segment, but we have a 4-way exhibition match between B. Presley, Sheeta, Statlander, and Sadie Gibbs. Terrible wrestling, non-existent heat. Sheeta defeats them all. Defeated Sadie Gibbs by pinfall. This is not great. It's just not great. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great. Afterwards, this does a little bit better. Nyla Rose comes out and attacks the entire group, defeating everybody except for Sheeta, who ends up standing off and resisting Nyla Rose, obviously leading to a confrontation between the two of them. Gain heat for the Nyla Rose is Unstoppable story, which is good. Afterwards, we have a triple threat tag team match between MJF and Spears, who have now newly aligned. Jurassic Express and the Private Party. MJF and Spears get the win. It's an elimination match, apparently, because apparently for some reason you can't just have a triple threat no matter what you do. Luchasaurus was the weak link. Luchasaurus still rating is very low, and something we might have to look at. Though this was a high spots match, so he probably suffered from that. But overall, MJF and Spears do get a win. Moxley continues his rampage through the inner circle. Last week he had attacked Santana. This week he tries to attack Ortiz, and Ortiz laughs him off and says, "Santana's still here, brother. He might be injured, but he's still here on my back. You still don't have anybody by your back." And Moxley says, "Yeah, I know. Actually, this week I brought a friend." We advance the story of Jon Moxley versus Jericho. Santana was a little underwhelming. And we debut Jon Moxley's old tag team partner, and we re-debut the Switchblade Conspiracy. So, Sami Callihan shows up, gets a great gimmick for his debut. Match is pretty good, all things considered, for who everyone is. We let Sami Callihan dominate the match, actually, to really work him over. And overall, they get the win and defeat Ortiz and Santana, continuing the quest of dismantling the inner circle one piece at a time. It does pretty okay. And in our main event, we have all of the Elite versus the Dark Order, and it actually ends in a draw due to double disqualification. The match is going, and eventually it breaks down and it just can't be contained. It seems like the only way we will have a definitive answer to the two of these teams will be at Blood and Guts, because there will be no disqualification in cages. Nick was slowed from his injury, which is fine. Match got the crowd buzzing. Not much to say. Everyone did pretty good. Obviously, notably, Hangman's not part of the Elite here. And overall, get the match pretty decent score. And finally, at the end of the night, what ends up causing the devolution is when it looks like the Elite might have had the upper hand, an army of creepers show up and descend upon the Elite. Everything gets all crazy and chaotic, and ultimately the ref just calls the match off. And ultimately, the Dark Order overwhelm the Elite and leave them on the ground hurt. Yeah, it's pretty good. Evil Uno is a little underwhelming. It's shocking. But overall, not a bad way to end the show. We probably could have used those Bs earlier, because unfortunately these are rated a little bit higher, being the ending angle and ending match. But at least a 68. It's not horrendous. It's not bad. I mean, overall, it's not the end of the world. TNT's still unhappy. We're never going to meet their minimum. At this point, John Silver needs to learn how to sell. Yeah, I know. Ah, man. Dynamite was great. I had a lot of praise. Now, I mean, what are you going to do? We can only do so much here with what we have. Our roster is a little too big, too, because we're going to start getting morale issues for people being left off of the show, unfortunately. Overall, though, not bad at all. Again, we got to move these up, which I think we can over time. We can probably chip away at these and start to move it in the momentum that we want. But for now, our approval rating's fine. We're still meeting our owner's goals, right? Must not fall below critical cult, which we're not planning on it. Jon Moxley must be kept over 71 popularity in America, which probably is the case. Still at 78, so I mean we're pushing him to the moon. So what are you gonna do? But overall, we still have to worry about the broadcasting. It is going to be an issue because TNT's minimum is 75, which is kind of ridiculous for what we are. In fact, at this point, they're no longer interested in negotiations with us. So we only have until another year, and then we're gonna have to really come up with something here because we did not get extended in this game. We are going to have a real difficult time trying to get them to join us kind of as we go through. I'd be curious to see also who is available when we eventually. I mean, so we could always jump elsewhere, but TNT is really the big draw. The USA is actually willing to negotiate with us, so if we needed to, we could always jump to USA, which would be hilarious. It's actually a bigger promotional bump too, but I don't know if that would work. It'd be really funny to have Raw and Dynamite on the same channel, just at different nights. It'd be kind of interesting. All right, well, we did what we can. We have Dark, we have another Dynamite, and then we have Blood and Guts, and we're building to it. So we just have one last show before it, and then obviously we're building to Jake Hager versus Moxley, the Elite versus the Dark Order, and then some other sprinklings here and there. Thank you guys for joining me. If you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing. We're working hard to try to get to 1,000 subscribers in the next month. Really appreciate it. If you're not subscribing, you're watching and enjoying the content, please do that, and really helps the channel out a lot. Thank you guys for joining me once again. I'll see you next time.